There you go, friends. Did I ever tell you the tale of when I was a corpsman? Yep, a corpsman for the night. Not, I was, I was in the Navy, but I wasn't a corpsman in the Navy. But I was just a recruit, really. But back when I served on the Wilson Rescue Squad, Wilson, North Carolina, in a way, I was an unofficial corpsman for a night. Yes, I've got to tell you the story. Well, it was a Sunday night down in Wilson. Consult your maps. Wilson's a bit east of Raleigh. It runs along a north-south highway. I want to say Highway 301. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so. Consult your maps. And it's a main highway that goes from north to the sunny south, and runs right through Wilson. It's at one time, I think there's interstates now that might take up the slack, but back when I lived in Wilson, again, this would have been whew, 20, 30 years ago now, something like that, maybe longer. It was it was a pretty main road, especially for servicemen. I may have already mentioned this, but desperate need of getting to the base before Reveille on Monday morning. Right. They were going through there, coming from all the various northern states, trying to get back to yeah. They had a 2 day furlough. And they they got to see their girlfriend, got to kiss her, got to kiss mom, shake dad's hand, and back to the base. And they had better be there Monday morning for Reveille, or yeah, I don't think it'd be quite, but they'd almost wish it was okay. All the yelling, oh my gosh, being late. I don't. I don't think they get the break. It's just they get the chewing out of their lives, and and maybe have maybe I don't know 3 or 4 tons of potatoes to peel. You get the idea. Okay, so they're intently interested in getting through Wilson and back on the down the road. And well, I was at the squad hall. I had Sunday night duty one evening, and the dispatcher I remember told me, he says, "Well, he says you may as well not even go sit in the TV room." He says there's going to be a call. He said I just feel it, and I said, "You sure?" He said I think something's going to be coming in this Sunday night, and I think it may have been a holiday weekend even. He says the all the boys in the service going to be running through town like they're in the Indianapolis 500. And he says, "Oh," and the phone rang. Yes, yeah, okay. You guys get an ambulance number 2, Route 301 down near Pettigrew Street, wreck. It sounds like it might be there's injuries. We better get on down there. So off we go. And indeed, was a soldier on his way home to the base. Yeah, he was conscious, and but he had fractured, I believe, between his shin and in the wreck he had. And we had we were working on him, checking him out to make sure he's not hurt elsewhere and all that, getting the fracture secured. And he says, "Okay," he says, you got that splint on me. I can go now, right?" I said, "No, no, no, no. You're not going anywhere." And I think my rescue partner had already taken the keys to the car. So these guys were desperate enough to just grab the keys and drive anyway. I said, "No, no, 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 no. No keys for you tonight." And the police were there too. They reiterated my feelings on the matter. And the guy said, "But I'm going to." "Oh man," he said, "I'm going to be in such trouble tomorrow." "Well, you're probably going to be here tomorrow in the hospital. Look at what you've got. You've got a fracture. that could wreck your. I'd say anyone worth their salt's going to tell you you got to rest a bit on that. Yeah, Gunny won't tell us that. Gunny, I guess, being their sergeant, and he said, "Oh man," he said, "I'm a dead man." You're not dead. You're not the first one ever got into trouble along the road in Iraq. You're not marching anywhere for a while on that. You got to be kidding. He says, "Well, okay." And the nurses hauled him up to bed, and uh, but I can still see that guy. He was absolutely intent on the idea that he wasn't he was totally doomed. And indeed, I think the next morning when we woke up in the barracks, I remember I was explaining to the morning dispatcher at the squad, and I said, "Gee, we had that fellow, that Marine. I wonder how he made out." He said, "Well, I don't know." He says, "You can drop by the ER, ask." I said, "Yeah, I'd like to just make sure he's okay. If he's there, I want to calm him down. Maybe we get him a sandwich or something." He says, "Well, yeah, go on down." So we went down in the ambulance. We weren't quite off duty yet, and the nurse at the ER, Miss Twilly, said, "So how's that Marine doing that had the fracture?" She says, "Oh, they already came and got him." I said, "They got him?" "Yeah, they sent up MPs." "No, they sent up guys like you. They sent up corpsmen in an ambulance." I said, "Oh, so they're not going to beat him senseless or nothing?" "Oh no," she says. These things happen. They understood. Now, the guy's sergeant might not understand, but that's between that young fella and his sergeant, but not. And I'm sure the sergeant's just going to yell at him a bit, maybe swat him around a little, slap him around. She says, "No, he won't even do that. They'll just make him wish he was dead with all the yelling and hollering and stuff. Probably put him on KP a little, and he'll be fine." And it was good you guys got that beer out of his car. Yeah, I said we gave that to the police. They're going to use it for their next picnic. I said, and the car is pretty much a wreck, and so that was that. Everything got taken care of, and I imagine that fella probably had once he could walk, he probably had to sweep floors like crazy, and maybe a little bit of KP, maybe only a half a year or so of it. It'll seem like to him, and bless his heart. No, it all worked out okay, I'm sure. A little screaming, and a little yes sir, no sir, and there you go. Anyway, I'll see you later. And like I said, the guy was fine. And you do, when you're hurt, you're hurt. You got to get fixed, and that's that. No sense, denying the fact. And anyway, I'll see you later. Although I remember I was in Iraq, and I didn't think. I figured, heck, I'm just fine, because my nose was over here, and my jaw was over here. But other than that, heck, nothing wrong with me. Yeah, I got to get to school. No, not today. Anyway, I'll see you later. God bless. Bye now. And drive carefully, for crying out loud. Okay. See you now. Bye bye.